Hello, BookTube. I've got another filming setup going on here, yet more variations on a theme as I play around with certain variables here and there. And I'm even more disheveled than usual because I did a tiny amount, a very tiny amount of house rearranging, of sort of, I would call it spring cleaning, but it's a beautiful summer day outside. But I did a small amount of, what if that was over there? What if that was arranged like this? And that might not seem like much to you. It's a whole lot to me, especially since for years I had unpaid labor to do that for me while I just pointed. Uh, I'm hoping that the video quality here is okay. I'm hoping that the audio quality here is okay. I'm actually filming this video on my old MacBook Pro, on which I have filmed literally thousands of videos for this channel. I just don't know if they were the thousands of videos where people said, these aren't so good, or if they're passable. But one or another, I'm going to watch this after I make it. I usually don't. I usually just make the video and then forget to upload it. But I'm going to watch this to see if it's okay. If I can't be heard at all, or if it's really murky in the visuals, then I'll redo it. But I won't redo the exact same video because the video I'm doing right now is something you can't redo. You can't redo a mail haul. I thought I would do a mail haul first with periodicals. I got 3 periodicals. I have gradually started resubscribing to the usual gigantic array of periodicals that I once subscribed to pre-pandemic. I stopped doing that because I knew that they were all going to be about the pandemic and I didn't want to read about it. So I let those subscriptions lapse and shifted them over to things like House Beautiful or Architectural Digest or all the travel magazines in the world. But I've missed content, and I don't mind reading about the pandemic if it's well done. And as an old friend of mine pointed out, you don't have to read an article in a magazine that you get if you don't want to. So, I've gradually started getting these things back, and some of them never stopped. Like, for instance, Vanity Fair, the new Vanity Fair, with a cover model I do not recognize. I have no idea who this person is. The Vanity Fair has just kept coming all along and has stayed true to itself. Every other page is a full-color ad for a tobacco delivery device, even though they come with gigantic box warnings saying this product is deadly. This product will kill you. And maybe the people in the advertising department at Vanity Fair say, well, as long as it's got that warning on it, we've done our part. But no. You're still wrong to do that. To intentionally buy ads from a company that makes a deadly product, something that gives people lung cancer, something that kills people every year in their thousands and thousands, you're still wrong to take their money. But there's also... whether or not the issue pleases, there's always the world of high fashion, right? Vanity Fair is always covering items in high fashion. This little item will only cost you $4,000. That, I guess you'd call it a dress. You'd never wear it in public, but it's $4,000. But it's not the thing that has my attention on this particular page, on this particular day. See that lovely necklace right there of fake Barbara Bush pearls? Something that's sort of designed to be tacky, something that you wear fake pearls because it's kind of a look. Everyone knows that you're sort of aping a certain era, and people will get at outdoor parties maybe an ironic chuckle out of the fact that you're wearing a fake Barbara Bush style necklace of fake pearls. And that necklace of fake pearls, if you want to buy it, is yours for the low price of $3,460. $3,460. So a whole mortgage payment and a chunk of change you could either put towards your future home, or you could buy a fake pearl necklace that is intentionally, unironically ugly. And needless to say, as everything else on this page, that is made by slaves in another country. But this, you don't want to go too far without an ad, a full-color, glorious, glamorous ad for a product that kills its users, for a product that kills its users. but one way or another, there were a couple of things in here that were interesting. Let me see if I can quickly get to them. There's an art theft thing, a Magritte painting that was stolen. There's an art theft by Joshua Hunt that was very good. I would have liked it a lot more if it had been about an artist that I like. But even so, art theft pieces are always fascinating. And then there was a piece by Abigail Tracy about a group of very wealthy and very eccentric Trump supporters who flew to the violent insurrection that he incited on January 6th at the nation's capital. The teaser headline for the article says they flew there on January 6th, but why? And I don't know why Americans are asking that question. I honestly don't. There is no doubt whatsoever what happened on January 6th, and there's no doubt whatsoever as to what the motives were. It seems to me the only reason you would ask the question is if you don't like the answer. But one way or another, there's another piece in here that I want to see if I can quickly get to it. Maybe I can't. Yes, this one here. It's by Joe Pompeo, and it is called Stay Tuned. And it's an article about the growth and development of cable news channels in the wake of, during and in the wake of the failed Trump presidency. And what it's done for them, what it's done for their readers, what it's done for their coverage. At one point in the article, Pompeo makes a point of saying that before that, normal mainstream news medias like, CNN or MSNBC hesitated to call obvious falsehoods lies on air. I remember watching this struggle as it happened, where it started off in 2015 and 2016 with talking heads all across the political spectrum saying, okay, Donald Trump said this, but here are documents, a whole bunch of them, and here are a whole bunch of photographs. It appears he may have been mistaken. They started out saying that, and then by the end of his failed presidency, they were saying, this is just a lie. He knows that it's a lie. We all know that it's a lie because we saw it. It's just a lie. We don't like using loaded language like that, but there's no way around it. If a grown man draws an outline in a Sharpie on a map in order to bolster a mistake that he made, well, then you can't. What are you supposed to say? He accidentally did that? No. So it's fascinating. And the one thing that I could have wanted more of in the article is whether or not Pompeo thinks this transformation is a good thing. I get the impression that he maybe doesn't. And I'm fascinated by that. There's also a fascinating article in here by an official at the Southern Poverty Law Center. I don't know if I can find the article, but I might be able to find her name. I'd like to find her name. There's a fascinating article in here on, I don't know that I'm going to be able to find it. Let me see. The pictures will be easy to find, yes, and the pictures were the part that were the most viscerally upsetting for me. There's an article in here on Trump white supremacy movements in the United States. If that's not a redundancy, of course they are all that. But basically, homegrown domestic terrorism. People that are willing to kill the libs, to kill the libtards. Like, for instance, the junior freshman Nazi Congressman Madison Cawthorn, who, when he was elected to Congress, the very first public statement that he made on Twitter, the very first thing that he tweeted was, "Cry more, Jew." Now, the tweet that he actually sent out was, "Cry more, libs," but it could not have been clearer what his attitude was. And it wasn't just, I got into Congress, so screw you. It was, I got into Congress and I am going to cause your death. I'm going to cause a systematic program to be enacted to kill you. The you may be in his mind. I doubt it very much, but maybe in his mind the you was the libs. But I doubt it very much. But one way or another, there was an article in here on that as well. I can't find it. But it was really, really good. And again, made me want a full book on the subject by that author. The next periodical is The New Yorker with this brilliant cover. Look at that cover. Signifying that the COVID situation in America is getting better. It looks, anyway, right now, double mutant strains or new variants of this disease notwithstanding, it looks like it's getting better. I can walk freely now outside without wearing a mask. There are a lot of places I can go without wearing a mask. Unfortunately, this issue didn't have much in the way of books coverage. There's just one thing, a biography of the artist Francis Bacon, who I don't like, and I read the biography and didn't like it either. But then there's also The New Republic, which had a couple of really good art. Oh no, okay, sorry. It was The New Republic that had the article about the domestic terrorist Trump supporting Klan members. It was this issue, not Vanity Fair, and the article is by Hannah Geis, who works for the Southern Poverty Law Center as, I think, an analyst of some kind. And one of the pictures is from 2021 in America. That is 2021 in America. And the photo spread is not just the obvious targets, it's everybody else, all these other shadowy paramilitary neo-Nazi Trump-supporting groups that are roaming the United States. The Southern Poverty Law Center and a whole bunch of other crime watch organizations know about them, know about their swelling membership, know about a lot of their plans, but this article made me want a whole book on the subject. Unfortunately, the books coverage this time around wasn't really my kind of thing. There was an article by Ganesh Sitaraman that was a roundup article of 3 books on economics. And that made me just want to get on the Voxer and yell at a certain party, reminding that certain party that there is, in fact, a market for reviews of popular economics books. And there aren't many people who can do it well. But that certain person has heard plenty from me on that subject. There was also another article by Stephanie Burt, who you might remember on this channel had a book that came in the mail. We saw it called Callimachus. After Callimachus was the name of it, a collection of poems. A rather pretty thing that I ended up rather liking. And she does a wonderful, long article on the Library of America Octavia Butler volume that was really, really good. But I wanted all 4 of the book pieces to be really, really good. Instead, the Stephanie Burt thing was really, really good. And the other book-related thing that I really liked was the end editorial at the back by Wynne McCormick about Hemingway, stating that Hemingway himself was Hemingway's most effective character, and mentioning something. As soon as I saw a piece on Hemingway in the New Republic, I flashed back immediately to a particular quote of Hemingway's, and sure enough, Wynne McCormick includes it. What about politics? Hemingway once remarked that the best uses for the pages of the New Republic was as toilet paper. So that was fun. But all in all, for all 3 of these, I know they're not book related, they're not book coverage organs, but I would have wanted a little bit more in the way of books coverage. But I had a fun time with all 3 of them, at least the pieces that I've read. I still have stuff to read. But then we have 2 packages as well, and I'm worried this whole time that this video will not be usable. We shall see. Lord knows I've filmed in worse conditions than this on this machine, so I'll just hope. I have 2 of these flat packages, and they aren't big, so they won't take us long, I don't think. So this first one is an advanced copy. Let's see here. This is coming out in late August. This is A Life Like Yours. I Live a Life Like Yours, a memoir by Jan Grue, translated from the Norwegian by B.L. Cook, with the requisite hideous American cover. I Live a Life Like Yours, a memoir. In his author photo, the author looks like he is 20. So I'm assuming that nothing in this book is actually true. Let's see if we have a description here. A brilliantly rendered essayistic autobiography from an award-winning Norwegian author about life in a vulnerable body. Jan Grue was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy at the age of 3. Shifting between specific periods of his life, his youth with his parents and sister in Norway, his years of study in Berkeley, St. Petersburg, and Amsterdam, and his current life as a professor, husband, and father, he intersperses these histories with elegant, astonishingly wise reflections on the world, social structures, disability, loss, relationships, and the body. In short, on what it means to be human. Along the way, he moves effortlessly between his own story and those of others, incorporating reflections on philosophy, film, art, and the work of writers from Joan Didion to Michel Foucault. Okay, so what does that mean? Why would you do that unless you're reprinting reviews that you previously ran? Well, I don't know. It certainly doesn't. The description doesn't make it sound like what I was expecting. So, and that's good. It's good to be surprised like that. I don't have to worry about this for a while because it's not until late August. But it sounds like it has more substance than I thought. Maybe the author isn't quite as young as he looks. Late August. I live a life like yours. So those of you who are in Norway, do you know this book? Did you was it popular when it came out originally? Uh, it's very interesting anyway. And then we have another one of these white envelopes just for a test video. That's all. I think more mail is coming today. This one is even smaller than the first one, so probably not anything that's going to make Steve squeal. But let's see. Let's see what it is. Oh wow, it's another piece of translated literature. Fantastic. Okay, this is from Farrar, Straus and Giroux. This comes out again in August. This is another August book. This is by Gianfranco Caligaric. Gianfranco Caligaric, and it is translated by Howard Curtis with a foreword by Andre Asselman. And it's called Last Summer in the City. And I'm assuming from the cover that last summer in the city we were diagnosed with first-stage lung cancer. Or maybe not. Maybe the cover is meant to say that everything that happens in this book is really, really cool. Because intentionally, knowingly giving yourself the agonizing disease, the fatal, untreatable, agonizing disease of lung cancer is, I guess, really, really cool. Hey, and in between, when you intentionally start giving yourself that disease, that cancer, and when 10, 15 years later you die of it over the course of 3 years in unbelievable blood-drooling agony, in the meantime, you'll smell like garbage. So, hey. Anyway. Let's see, but it's more translated literature. I'm always up for more of that. You know the names Capote, Hemingway, and Franzen. OMG. Capote, Hemingway, and Franzen. Yes, I do know those names. Yeah, one is unbelievably lightweight. And the other is an unbelievably pompous and overrated bore. And then there's Hemingway. I can't believe that the publicist who wrote this sheet actually found a trio of literary figures that makes me want to defend Hemingway. Unbelievable. All right, yes, I know those three names. Yep, I do. But what about Caligaric? First discovered by Natalia Ginzburg, the author is forgotten. This book is a forgotten classic of Italian literature, of a similar stature to The Great Gatsby or The Catcher in the Rye. Are you freaking kidding me? Even if it's true, it's the last thing you want to say. Good Lord, you are teeing up every lazy critic in the country to say, no, it's not. Let them find out for themselves. I'm proud to announce the recent reissue and English debut of this ravishing yet despairingly tragic tale about solitude, self-discovery, and la dolce vita in summery Rome. And we'll add in a little lung cancer. Can't have a cool story without lung cancer. Okay, so this is the very first time that this has been in English. That's interesting on its own. When did it originally come out? The pub sheet will probably tell me, but I'm too eager to find out. 2016. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this towering classic fit to stand beside Homer and Aristotle. Came out in 2016. Okay, but notice one thing I noticed when I was flipping through here is something very pretty. Look at that. They put in a little picture. That is lovely. Not enough publishers add little details like this. That is very nice. Let's plow on, shall we? The Andre Asselman, a longtime fan of Caligaric and the author of the foreword for Last Summer in the City, perhaps puts it best in describing Rome as the place of, quote, drifting. Quote, Rome is where almost everyone in Last Summer charts his or her circuitous transit through a city that, despite claiming a historic center, has no center and lets everyone feel squandered and scattered about. Okay, well, there you go. That's Asselman prose if ever I saw it, or Acheman prose. So the Rome in this book, almost everyone in this book charts their circuitous transit through the city, and that city is Rome. Okay, yeah, you can't transit through the city without going through the city. I don't even know what that quote means. It's no wonder why here we're leaving Andre Asselman behind. We're going back to the normal tug sheet. It's no wonder why Leo Gazzara, a 30-year-old disaffected narrator drifting between unfulfilling jobs and frayed relationships, leaves Milan and finds himself there for the summer. I have actually been in Rome in the summer many times, and it's an experience. It really is. I know that we're accustomed to thinking this of other places because they have a cave troll. But Rome in high summer, you could literally fry an egg on the sidewalk. I hope you can hear me over that. I think that is the laundry going nuts. So I'm hoping it'll calm down rather than making this, rather than the dreaded phenomenon when you hear a sound like that from the laundry room, which is that it is walking the machine, so-called, where the vibrations are causing the machine to walk across the floor. No, there we go. All right, it settled down. They'll find there's one dwarf still in Moria who draws breath. On the surface, Leo's life appears blissful, with the endless sea, glorious parties, and gorgeous women easily within reach. However, underneath the lofty distractions of the city lies the serious alienation of the damaged and marooned protagonist, who constantly submits himself to an alcoholic haze wholly depends on his wealthy friends to survive. I was in an alcoholic haze quite often during the summers that I spent in Rome. It's actually very pleasant to do if you have a nice little room that you know you can get to. And I might also point out that gorgeous men are also within easy reach. Just saying, that's all. Leo finds companionship in the well-off drunkard Graziano and a budding, passionate romance with the beautiful Ariana. Oh no, women named Ariana. But these individuals are emotionally crippled too. One way or another, the characters will ultimately, to use a common phrase in the novel, hoist their sails and leave the blinding, lingering city of Rome that was never home, but a place to escape. This book begins already dripping in nostalgia and lung cancer. Are we getting a quote from the opening of the book? Okay, yes. Quote, anyway, it's always like that. You do your best to keep yourself, and then one fine day you somehow find you're caught up in something that sweeps you along with it to the bitter end. Close quote. Okay. Anyway is lazy. One fine day is a cliche, and to the bitter end is a cliche. So let's hope the translation does better than that, or let's find out whether or not the original also is buried in cliches. That's just one line, and it's incredibly lazy writing. Anyway, in the author's style, which, quote, frequently jolts the highly elegiac with the brutally colloquial. That's also from Andre Asselman, needless to say. His forthcoming novel is full of statements like these that bite through the page with sharp teeth and stir something deep within the narrator and reader alike. Well, a writer who goes right away to, what was it again? Sweeps you along, one fine day, to the bitter end. A writer who goes right to that kind of garbage and loads a sentence with it, even though he's been over this a million times and is trying to sell it to a paying audience, does indeed stir something deep inside this particular reader. But I don't think it's what the author wants to stir inside me. Both brutally honest and sweetly sublime, Last Summer in the City encapsulates the listlessness of summer in Rome. Well, that's good. That's very good. You go, if you find a nice table outside, a nice cafe table outside that has good shade and good wind, like the way the air passage is good, not bad, you can easily lose 5 hours just sitting there, watching the people go by, or in my case, reading literary journals. The time just goes right by. You know that your little room back wherever you are, in whatever dark alley that you've got a room down, you know that room is going to be as hot as a kiln oven. So you're in no hurry to get back to it. So the author was born in Eritrea and grew up in Milan before moving to Rome, where he worked as a journalist and screenwriter. And Last Summer in the City is the first of his novels to be translated into English. That's incredible. I wonder now how old the author is, how many other novels there are. It sounds fascinating. Both of these do. Both of these. We've got nonfiction and fiction. They both sound fascinating. Both translated works, both coming out in August. So anyway, that is your your video here, and this was really an experiment. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know if I'm being blasted by background light. Am I being blasted by background light? Are you so pretty? You are. You're so pretty. We encountered someone on the morning walk. Frida did what she always does, which is to scream and growl. A growl deep in her little chest. It would sound frightening if she weren't 10 pounds, but she's doing her best. A deep, resinous growl. And the person just sort of stopped like that, and I said, believe it or not, she wants you to fuss over her. She's the friendliest dog in the world. I don't know why she growls at people. And the woman said, really? But by then, the growling had stopped, and Frida was wagging her whole body and trying to get at the woman. So the woman could see that she was really friendly. But I don't know why that's the first impression she decides to make. But one way or another, this was a total experiment. We had noises in the background. We had light filtering in a way that is either good or unacceptable. Who knows what the audio is like. The laundry room went crazy, and I'm ill-advisedly doing laundry alone, so there's no one to take care of it but me. If that machine has walked across the floor and I am flooding the kitchen, then I don't know what I'm going to do. So this is just just in the way of an experiment. If it's in any way passable, I will put it up, because you don't come here for the technical stuff. So we have 3 magazines and 2 books, and that is a bit of a mail haul for today. So I'm gonna wrap this up and see how it works. And if it works, then you'll see this, and I'll move on. Thank you, BookTube.